back to another expert game. This is going to be another 3 versus 3 between Mr. Yo, the Max, and Lobbyhead, and ACCM Love is Over and Lix. I'm joined once again by Ornlu Age of Empires, who started his own channel. I recommend you give him a subscription and check him out. I'll put a link in the description if you like his casting. Let's take a look at these teams. So yellow, teal, and red. Yellow, teal, red. Over in the left flank, we have Mr. Yo playing as the Incas. In teal, we have the Max playing as the Franks. And in red, we have Lobbyhead playing as the Japanese. So Lobbyhead, a really good team game player. Less so in 1 versus 1, but she's really good at team games. The Max playing as the Franks. Also a great team game player, was part of Finland, who got 2nd place in the Nations Cup. And Mr. Yo, #1 in the Voobly 1 versus 1 ladder. Take it away for the other team.
Spawning on the far left flank, we have ACCM as the Vikings. Their pocket will be Love is Over, playing as the Indians. And kind of in the far right corner of the map, we have Lix as the Green Byzantines. So the first...
Love is Over and Lix both playing for the side team. ACCM's been around a long time, but he's a very prominent Vietnamese player, playing a lot in the Vietnamese Nations Cup. So all these players, a lot of team game experience, a lot of experience in general between them, and should shape up to be a pretty good game. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to say that the Max has finally done it. He is going to go Super Saiyan this game. He is Pocket, he is a Paladin Civ, and a Civ that can do a good boom as well. It's all over now.
I would be very surprised not to see him go Knights here. Although I would be surprised not to see him go Knights. It's Franks as a pocket. You have to go Knights.
It's kind of mandatory. Of course, you can do Scouts as Franks, and it's pretty strong since they have 54 HP. But just knowing the Max's playstyle and how much he loves to boom, I would very much expect the fast castle into Knights. Also, if you look at the right flank, that's a really far distance between the two players.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual for this kind of map. It kind of has to beg the question, are these players going to adjust their strategy because of that? We'll see how fast they scout this. That could be a really decisive factor as to, oh wow, these players are really far apart. I should probably go for maybe a fast castle strategy. And it looks like Lobbyhead is doing that right away. Actually, she's going right out to see where Lix is.
Yeah, definitely a solid choice. I think in a team game, you really want to go and scout out your other flank as soon as possible. Just so you know what they're doing, know what their map looks like, and what potential strategies you can see from them.
So Lobbyhead playing as the Japanese. Pretty good early game civilization in Arabia. Certainly pretty good arbalest, good early game economy. And playing against the Byzantines, pretty diverse civilization, a lot of good trash units, even access to Paladin, which may be relevant. Not also the strongest civilization, but certainly both these civilizations have some pretty good versatility, I would think.
Yeah, certainly. I actually really like the Byzantines as a 1v1 Arabia Civ, just because, especially when gold runs low, they can be so powerful with their cheap trash, and even with gold, they can produce, hand cannoneers, bombard cannons, and get to imp really quickly. However, in a team game where gold is much more plentiful, they have less powerful options, in my opinion, unless you can somehow get cataphracts out, which almost never happens.
Interesting matchup, if we ever see it, between cataphracts and samurai. I can tell you, I think from experience, that actually samurai win in that matchup. So,
do they? Because
I think they do. I've seen it before, and I've seen the samurai shred. So maybe I'll be wrong this game, but that's just something to think about.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if the cataphract has just infantry armor, or if it's only like anti-infantry armor, or if it's just anti-cavalry. Yeah,
I believe it's anti-bonus, but I still saw the. It's just from what I saw of the samurai shred. But, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely need a refresher on that.
Anyway, taking a look at the The Indians is actually the pocket civilization. This is the strongest, one of the strongest pockets you could possibly get. We were talking about the Max and going, heavy into cavalry. Well, the Indians are great at countering that with their camels. They have been nerfed a little bit since halibs are certainly much better versus camels than they used to be. But still, this is one of the strongest pockets of civilizations you could have.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for the Southern team because it's just such a one-sided matchup in terms of the Indians have the stronger boom and they have the stronger unit comp and the stronger Imperial Age. Except Love is Over kind of has a bit of a doubt mining camp, in my opinion. Don't really know why you put that there.
Yeah, not the biggest deal, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but it's something that...
Every
he's one of the best players in the world.
Every difference matters in pro play. On the left side, we have ACCM playing as the Vikings. Very good early game civilization. And Mr. Yo playing as the Incas, also a good early game civilization. Yeah, we'll have to see how that shapes out. One thing to consider with the Vikings, also Berserks are pretty decent against cavalry now. So maybe that plays into, going against the Franks later on over here. But as for now, Dark Age Rush from either player. Men-at-Arms upgraded for both of these players. No, actually just, Men-at-Arms upgraded for both these players. Let's see how this engagement goes. 4 Men-at-Arms for ACCM.
Yeah, that combined with the extra 5 hit points means he should win this engagement fairly easily. And I'd just like to point out that I think the Vikings actually match up really well against the Incas because their infantry are stronger. Oh, poor dear. But because they have the extra HP on their infantry and they have the stronger economy. And I really don't think that the Incas have that many options offensively because I feel like they're really reliant on Eagle Warriors to have that offensive presence, and the Vikings can use their own powerful infantry to counter that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe thinking about slingers as well, but I don't know. Certainly, I think the siege of the Vikings is better. So I can see the argument for them being a stronger civilization in this particular situation.
Yeah, and slingers, of course, are insanely good versus infantry, but they don't really represent much of a powerful offensive presence on their own, at least in my opinion.
So Men-at-Arms getting picked off by ACCM, and Love is Over, pretty much of a waste, but these Men-at-Arms from ACCM shouldn't really do anything as well. They're halfway across the map. Men-at-Arms from Lavihead actually coming in at the right side. Apparently, I don't know what happened there, but he's seen maybe the archers of Licks and decided, I don't want to run into archers, I've got Men-at-Arms, so he's going to try to do something at Love is Over's base, but Love is Over's already walled up, so nothing really done there.
Scouts coming in too from the Max. We said it'd be likely for him to go for a fast castle, but he's doing the scouts. And that's like almost a 3v1. He's got scouts everywhere.
Where's he doing the damage with the scouts? Oh, he's doing the damage at Love is Over's base.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, already losing 2 villagers, I believe.
Ah, I see it. Yeah, pretty good raid so far. Trying to slow down the Indians a little bit. It's going to be hard once those camels get out, so got to do the damage right now. That was a free villager that he just missed.
Yeah, definitely. Though, interestingly enough, the Max is only ahead 1 villager. So, definitely goes to show how powerful the Indians are, especially since Love is Over is already over halfway to Castle Age, and the Max is still only 1 villager ahead.
Love is Over should be fine, in my opinion, though.
Yeah.
So I think that the Max should definitely try to go up to the Castle Age as soon as possible.
Yeah, certainly. But what do you think he should do once he gets there? Should he still make the knights, even though the camels are going to come out for the Indians?
I've always been a fan. I always thought of what would happen if a player decided to go for some throwing axemen, but I think he's just going to go into knights and fight knights against camels. Hope he has better numbers.
That's not the greatest prospect in the world. However, he did get another villager kill onto Love is Over, and he's forcing all of the gold mining villagers into the town center.
Well, he has to make something, so I guess knights can be perfectly fine as something. That qualifies as something.
Yes, knights do indeed qualify as something.
ACCM getting through on the left side of Mr. Yo's base. Mr. Yo forced to build one of his nice cheap Inca towers, but not something that you want to do. So he's going to have to mine a bit of stone to get his town centers out. I lied. ACCM actually did do some good damage with those men-at-arms, getting through that wall nice and quick.
Yeah, certainly. And the men-at-arms are still in the base of Lavi, or Lavi's men-at-arms are still in the base of Love is Over. And that combined with the scouts actually have done significant damage. So that's more than I thought, for sure.
And Mr. Yo's still stuck in the feudal age. Actually, he's going to click up right now. So he's going up now.
So yeah, they'll still be faster than his other flank, but shouldn't be too much of a big deal, I think.
Nice trade from Lavihead. Take a look at... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Lavihead's on the same team. Noobcaster. Trying to defend from Licks.
I thought I was the Noobcaster.
The max, of course, lowest villagers now, 27 villagers now. A lot of losses from that raid of Licks. A lot of the players just going to not necessarily the player that's directly across from them, but they're really mixing it up as far as who they're attacking.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a more recent development in the team game meta over the years. It used to be everyone would just go for their opponent, but especially with more feudal age action going on from pocket players, you kind of see this a lot more now. Also, really nice position for ACCM under Yo's tower. Already got a villager and a spearman, I think.
Pretty nice, but he's going to get cleaned up by the Eagle Warriors. Eagle Warriors so strong for the Incas. So we're going to see Eagle Warriors versus crossbows. I feel like every time I go crossbows against Incas, I regret it. And I feel like that you really have to take Eagles more seriously than than maybe you'd want to. And maybe think about going into Knights or something to counter the Eagles out.
Nah, man, just go long swordsman. Just assert your dominance, say, I'm going to go Castle Age long swordsman. I think they have 66 HP now. And Vikings, obviously they just shred Eagles. Of course, as the Vikings.
Yeah. Well, either way, he's going to go crossbows, which is the more meta play, I suppose. Maybe rely on some camels from Love is Over. Looks like Love is Over is going to set his camels... where is he setting them? Send him over to the right side, maybe to go attack Lobbyhead. Lobbyhead's trying to finish up her massive walls. The Max is coming over to defend her immediately.
Oh, there are the archers. Yeah, these archers are actually kind of in an awkward position for Licks. Because you know the knights are coming, but he's just going to kind of throw away 9 archers for free.
Well, he's too deep into the base to be able to do anything about it. I think the Max would be... Sorry, I think Love is Over would be too late with his camels if he were to come in, so best option is probably just to either try to get out of there or try to distract these knights from doing anything.
Well, yeah, that's
the wolf train has started.
Yes. Ornlu sends forth his minions.
And he's going to try to get as many archers there as possible.
Micro.
So pretty close game so far. No team really taking a decisive lead over the other.
Yeah, things are pretty calm right now.
I'm kind of worried about ACCM, though. He's getting ballistics on these archers. He's put a lot of investment into them. I think they're going to get absolutely shredded by the Eagles. Although only... Yeah, +2 now, though.
Yeah, of course, the crossbowmen do 2 damage to the Eagle Warriors once all upgrades are taken into consideration. But he has numbers now.
That's not too bad. I'm going to run into the tree line for now.
Yeah, of course. We'll see if he can get a good engagement. Hopefully on the high ground as well. Oh, he's deleting the wall. I'm not really a fan of that decision. I think this is uphill for ACCM as well.
Hard to tell, but I think ACCM should have definitely attacked more and ran away, rather than just standing and fighting. He needs to make some sort of transition now, though. I feel like this is just opening the door for Mr. Yo to flood him with Eagles.
Yeah, when your opponent is making a counter unit to your army, it's not usually the best idea to keep on making the unit that's getting countered.
And that's what players have to really learn, is that the Eagle War is actually a pretty hard counter to archers. It's not a soft counter like it used to be, but it's pretty nasty.
Because, yeah, it's just that 3 natural pierce armor for the Eagle Warriors, just so powerful against any sort of ranged attack.
Lavihead now pushing out on the right side, going to win a nice military engagement against Lix, and Love is over. And we'll see if she's able to do any damage. If she's able to push out even more, might be able to get onto the gold of Lix. And 2 of Lix's golds are completely exposed. Both of his stones are pretty exposed as well. Lix has a defense siege workshop though, so coming out with a Mega now.
Yeah, and of course, remember how Lix lost all those archers earlier? I mean, that gives Lavi a really nice archer lead, all things considered, and Love is Over just didn't have the camel production to deal with the Max's knights.
I do like the town center placement on the right side, though, able to take wood and gold and perfectly protect those villagers. Gonna be up to this Mangonel shot, though. Lix has certainly done himself a favor with his base design. So those archers can't get right on top of the gold because of the palisades and everything like that. And the Meganol will do great behind those walls.
Yeah, certainly. Nice SimCity for Lix. And let's see if the Meganol can get a big shot. Not terrible. Getting a couple archers.
Really worried for ACCM, though. He still needs to make something else. He's going with double barracks now, so he's finally said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do long swords. And
listen to the Ornlu.
he
will show you the way.
He needs to get these out as fast as possible. The thing about long swords is they take a lot of food. This is the problem with infantry. They're actually kind of expensive in the food department, so going to be hard to get those out. He's already invested so heavily into crossbows that it's going to be hard to make this transition.
It's definitely going to be a tricky transition. I'm not quite sure what the stable is for. Though, of course, the Vikings do have a solid food economy.
Forgot he was Vikings, probably.
Yeah. The Vikings' free handcart does give them very efficient farmers, but we'll see how many long swordsmen it takes to sort of drive off these Eagle Warriors.
I think that should be enough, but I think the damage is done for Mr. Yo.
Yeah, and of course, you have to point out that Lix is on his way to Imp. He's almost halfway there. And that can be really devastating if he comes in with Arbalests over only crossbowmen against Lavi.
Yeah, Byzantine early Imperial Age. Again, that rush distance is pretty large, though, so it'll take him an extra 30 seconds to even get over there. He's playing more defensive right now. Doesn't know that Lavi's Head's army is actually over by Love is Over space.
Well,
and you know what?
He'll figure out soon enough.
Yeah, you know what? I think the Knights have actually done better this game than the Camels. The Knights able to tank a lot more of that archer fire than the Camels are.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that is due to how crippled Love is Over was in the feudal age, with all of that idle time and dead villagers. It really gave Max the sort of leg up in just cavalry production, and they've been able to take better engagements up to this point.
Lix is going to go back to defend. That's not exactly how you want to use your early Imperial Age, but hopefully you can take out this army of Lavihead. Now Knights are in onto the town center of Love is Over. He needs a lot of defense right now. Chain Barding Armor coming in only now for Love is Over. He's going to go attack the Knights, and with the Arbalists in the south, Lix will try to take out some of these crossbows. Actually, no,
the Knights are in, though. No wall for Love is Over. Well, I think it was an overchop, but he's going to lose probably 4 or 5 villagers there.
At least 4. You might be a little bit behind me. I'm at 31-15.
Oh yeah, I'm like 25 seconds behind you.
So Arbalest upgrade finally coming in. Bracer is done. The archers from Lavihead just going to try to pick out as many villagers as possible. Yosei convert on the other side. Let's see how he's doing at defending. Looks like he's got a successful defense against Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo, they're actually pretty even on the left side. Scores are even. Villager numbers only 10 ahead for Mr. Yo.
Yeah, certainly. And these long swordsmen are going to do very well against any of the siege and of course the Eagle Warriors. So I think that ACCM can really, pull this back.
But Mr. Yo taking it to the next level, adding some slingers. No upgrades yet, but that means that ACCM should continue archer production.
Yeah, certainly. These slingers are really strong. I feel like they're really underrated as a unit.
They really are, to be honest. They're really good against infantry.
It's, I think part of it's the perfect accuracy they have, especially once they get Thumb Ring out. They just wreck those long swordsmen, as we just saw. Also, I think I'm caught up. I'm at 33-12.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Look at this early Imperial from Lix, though. Getting Captran done immediately. He does have access to Siege Ram if he wants it. We mentioned before, these huge walls of Lobby Head, they're going to go down instantly, and all her military buildings are on the front here. Gold in the front. Castle coming up from Lobby Head, though, that is great, but it doesn't help protect that town center on the right side.
No, it does not. And speaking of castles, there's a castle coming up for Yo on the front of ACCM's base. But not that many villagers.
And the Max coming in just puts... That's just so strong to add just a few knights into this composition as the archers are starting to come out again. ACCM's in a lot of trouble here on the left side, but at the same time on the right side, Lix should be in a lot of trouble as well. Kind of a base trade scenario.
Yeah, I think Lavi really is in a not fantastic position, as these Caprams are just going to level this TC no problem. But, of course, on the north, it's kind of like each player has one flank that's kind of dying slowly.
I feel like ACCM might die a little bit faster, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just he's not able to get out his army. At least Lavihead has a good standing army right now of crossbows, which will eventually be Arbalest. So she could run away for now. And I feel like the Max is definitely a stronger pocket at this stage right now.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the fact that on the north side it's 2v1 essentially with the Max and Yo, whereas on the south side it's just kind of Lix doing his own thing with Love is Over kind of not doing a whole lot at the moment.
Where is Love is Over? He's got some villagers dying on the left side too, actually at Town Center, Mr. Yo. Castle coming up for ACCM though, that could really save him. At least a little bit. He's getting raided pretty heavily by Mr. Max, though. Mr. Max.
Mr. Max.
I don't know.
No, he's Mad Max. He's not Mr. Max. Yeah, these knights can do big damage on ACCM's eco. And yeah, there just isn't enough stuff to stop them.
Oh, and big engagement on the bottom right side. This really could change the game.
Wow.
Could decide the game. The Arbalest is so strong. Imperial Age not done for these Arbalests yet. +4 armor Cavalier done from the Max. And it looks like the Cavalier should be able to shred through the Arbalest, and that's going to be it on the right side. That's all the momentum lost for Lix. He needs to do the damage, unless ACCM can possibly hold in his base, which it looks like he is kind of holding, actually.
Yeah, I really have to question this decision to go in so deep by, with Lix just going in so deep by himself. He just has no method for escape with his slow Arbalest army.
Yeah, I have to question that decision as well. He did take out a lot of Lavihead's economy, though. She's down to 65 bills. Although, to be honest, Lix is only at 75 bills himself, so yeah.
It's probably not worth it in the long run, because Lavi is on 3 town centers? 2 town centers right now.
Look at this, though. Yeah. Paladin upgrade coming in from the Max.
I told you, man. Lix's pocket Paladin Civ, he's going to go Super Saiyan. And, like, his score, just compared to everyone else in the game, is astronomical. Of course, it must be said that Love is Over is in the Imperial Age, and he does have heavy camels on the way. And those will do very well against even Frankish Paladins.
I wonder if Love is Over might actually go for this castle. He's got so many camels here. The Indians, of course, attack bonus versus buildings, which is seldom used, but he's actually, it looks like he's going to go try to attack that castle. Not a lot of army from Mr. Yo. Obviously, the Paladins don't want to get anywhere near those camels.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll see some Kameyuks from Yo. He's getting the
more castles, though.
Oh, yeah, he only has the one castle. That's my bad. Yeah, I really don't think Pure Eagle is going to cut it at this point.
Now, ACCM with 2 castles can transition into Berserks. It's actually becoming more of an even game, I feel. The scores aren't that close, but Imperial Camel could be on the way. That could be something that really helps them on that side.
I do think the scores are lying a little bit because the Max had such a strong boom, but as the Franks, he's kind of pigeonholed into making Paladins at this point. Whereas I think there's a lot of options for...
One of the big things that the score never takes into account is, you know, the potential technology you can make as your civilization. It doesn't take into account that, you know, Imperial Camel could be made, or, you know, Elite Berserk could be made, or those other things.
North side, Doubt Castle coming up for Yo, as these like 5 villagers are gonna get taken out by the heavy camels from Love is Over.
No, but the castle's up.
Am I behind you again?
Maybe.
I'm at 41.
Love is Over and Licks are on the same team.
Oh, Yo, I meant. I'm sorry.
And Yo. Oh, that castle. Okay, I see that castle. No, he's got it up.
Okay, he's gonna get it up. Love is Over had to retreat against the elite Eagle Warriors from Yo.
I think if the teams are going to come back, you know, Lix's team, ACCM Love is Over, it's because I think their late game might be a little bit stronger than the late game of these other civilizations, but are they going to be able to hold out with the advantage that Mr. Yo's team already has?
Yeah, I think that's spot on in terms of just countering things like Eagle Warriors and Cavalry. All 3 of the northern team civs have excellent options in that regard. With the elite berserks for ACCM, the Imperial Camels, though he's getting raided, for Love is Over, and cheap trash for Lix.
Big thing is, I think ACCM's down to 1 castle now. He needs to build more castles. He's building a 2nd castle right now. He needs to get a lot of farms up so he can afford a lot of those heavy food upgrades for the berserks. So he needs to get his army out now and prevent as much raiding as possible. That north side of his base is absolutely abysmal to stop the raiding. He needs to take down that castle so those eagles can stop walking in.
Yeah, certainly.
And look at the position of Mr. Yo. 4 castles in the same place. He really doesn't want to lose this position.
Well, yeah, because if he does lose it, he's going to be in a pretty hard spot to defend, as the front of his base is very open.
And oh my gosh, Elite Kameyuk done from Mr. Yo.
Yeah, I saw...
This is the first time I've seen this in a pro game.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Kameyuks are an amazing unit. The Incan unique units, I think, are both really underrated. Kameyuks, the one range they have is actually insane, and they can even be cost-effective against champions.
Yeah, I've seen that one before. No.
And they also have the 6 Pierce armor from the Courier's tech, which is nice as well.
Looking really, really bad, actually, on this bottom side. There's no way you're going to be able to take out 4 castles with a single castle of your own. So much army coming from Mr. Yo and the Max. On the bottom side, it looks more promising, however, as Lix has just so many archers. None of these civilizations getting siege onager, of course. So it's going to be really hard to take out these Arbalests.
That is a lot of Arbalests. 78 military for Lix. That is crazy.
And now coming with the siege rams as well to expedite the push. I just don't know how, though, ACCM is going to stay alive in this game.
Yeah, of course, we have to remember that the camel nerf from patch 5.7 is really hurting the Imperial Camel's ability to deal with these Kameyuks. Because I believe the Kameyuks now do even more damage against them.
Yeah, they're doing pretty decent damage. So we need to see some sort of counter against the Kameyuks. I like to call the Vikings kind of that, kind of like an old world civ, and those kind of civs, they don't get like hand cannons, so it's going to be really hard to deal with the Kameyuks.
The Vikings definitely not known for their
gunpowder
imperial might in the 15th and 16th centuries.
Down in the south, though, Lix is pushing. Going to take down the castle of Lobby Head. I'm going to take a look at where Lobby Head's most of her economy is. She does have some economy in the south, though, so that will be perfectly safe, even if this castle goes down. So she's still looking in a better position than ACCM. It's really who's the biggest loser right now. ACCM's the biggest loser, with most of his economy being idle. He's trying to build a little bit in the back, but not as much as Lobby Head.
Yeah, and I actually really think Love is Over should send more camels to the north, because ACCM really needs some help right now.
The thing is, the camels won't be so effective. I mean, you really need some help, but I don't know. You're just kind of throwing them away.
I mean, especially against, like, all of these Kameyuks, I think maybe some hand cannons would be a good choice if he was able to tech into them. But if anything is going to happen this game, they need ACCM to be not totally dead. And I think Lix is doing a really good job of just pushing on his own here.
Yeah, throwing Axeman now being upgraded for the max.
Oh boy.
Don't know about that decision at all. And Halberd here as well? What?
If the max was on the other team, throwing Axeman would make sense against the Kameyuks. And even the... But I don't know.
Yeah, Castle going down now. I just don't agree with these army composition choices from the max. I feel like, what was wrong with Paladin? I don't know what was wrong with Paladin.
Yeah, especially Frankish Paladins.
Oh, look at this! Lick's going north now. Might go help out. Go help out. You know, ACCM.
Yeah, this looks pretty essential at this point because the Arbalests do fairly well against the Kameyuks, and ACCM needs again to just not be totally dead, so he can make those champions.
So Lix is basically going to go into defensive mode with this castle coming up. Of course, the Max and his team hasn't made any siege because they're not expecting to need to go into offensive mode. But with these Arbalists going out across the map, they're basically focusing a lot more on just defending ACCM and just defending on the right side. And nice pick off of the Trebs. 2 Trebuchets going down from the Camels.
Yeah, really nice little run around by these Camels, using that speed advantage they have over the infantry.
Darn, I've lost track of the Arbalists. There's so many things on the map. Did they go back?
Team games, man.
Where did they go? Oh, they're in Love Is Over's base, actually. I don't know why they're there. Some random halberding from the Max.
Yeah.
It's
Looks
not
like
a great place for your Arbalists to be. You want them to be over on the left side and helping out.
Does Love Is Over have anything except camel production?
No, just camels.
I feel like some hand cannons would be really useful at this point.
Absolutely. Bezos Civs really struggle against the you know, hand cannons.
And the Franks as well, with the infantry coming out.
Unfortunately, I think ACCM is going to find out the hard way that champions don't do so well against Elite Kameyuk, despite, you know, normal intuition.
Well, they are Viking champions, and they have a lot of HP, so I'm not entirely sure, but the thing is, especially in these tight little corridors between the barracks, the Kameyuks can sort of poke past each other and get more hits in, which is really where they're strongest.
So Love Is Over has some camels just sitting around. He needs to snipe off those Trebs once more because it's very vital that ACCM's castle stays up. It's most of what's keeping ACCM alive at this stage. ACCM's done a nice job rebooming, but it doesn't mean anything if this castle goes down and then Mr. Yo starts raiding him again.
Yeah, and just because we're at that point in the game, we need to point out the trade, and the trade is much more established for the southern team, with ACCM having no trade.
Well, luckily a lot of his units don't require that much gold, but I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also the fact that the southern team has this free trade. I mean, the Camels are coming in now for Love Is Over, but Camel's not as great a raiding unit as Paladins.
I'm so surprised Lix has been able to do what he's able to do off of 60 villagers. He must have got raided really heavily, but he's never had a lot of villagers this game, but he still had a fairly significant, you know, presence on it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Lix's base and I see some dead bodies, so I assume he was raided at some point, but I think that just goes back to the Byzantine army being very cheap, so long as you're not making cataphracts. And now we're seeing bombard towers even on the front. And wow, actually, if you look at the base, well, Lavi's former base, the front of it, there is a 5-tile pile of stone that Lix can gather for bombard towers.
Looks like the Arbalest of Lix finally arriving in ACCM's base. With that, I don't see Mr. Yo pushing in. I think Mr. Yo should have definitely done a better job raiding this left side. It is so exposed, and yet I still see farmers taking farms. That's not really something that should happen.
Well,
and, now ACCM going to try to take it to those slingers, despite the huge attack bonus versus them. Too strong. Vikings champions too strong. Going to get at least one of those trebuchets.
They fire so fast and so accurately. Just taking a really good trade. They're even missing an armor upgrade.
Yeah, but it looks like Mr. Yo might get pushed back here, actually.
Yeah, well,
I'm
he's
just
kind of on
this
his
armor
own right now.
composition.
Wait, sorry?
I'm loving this army composition, Arbalest plus Champion on this left side.
Yeah, I really think they're doing exactly the units they need to make to get back into this.
And on the right side, Lick's still just holding that hill. The other team hasn't even attempted to try to go up this hill in the last 10 minutes since Lick's left with half his Arbalest.
Yeah, that's why I advocated for Love is Over earlier to start sending more of his units north, even if they weren't the most efficient, because Lix has just been doing a fantastic job.
Looks like it's not going to matter that much though, because actually the Max sneak attack, he's been focusing in the middle of the base, and he's got 2 castles up, and he's got throwing axemen in the trade line.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, these you know, the raiding throwing axemen. Who would have thought?
I've never seen throwing axemen throw axes at these trade carts as they go by.
Yeah, I mean, any sort of ranged unit, once you get them in the trade line, they're just gonna start shredding these trade carts, and that in itself might be game.
Yeah, unfortunately that might be game right there. Without trade, we already said that the other team had stronger trade. That's only going to make the situation worse, as I see no trade cards at all getting past, and that's going to be it. The Max's team not going to be able to get any gold, make any of their units, and that's going to be GG right there.
Which, honestly, this was even though the Max put the nail in the coffin with this push, I think he was kind of quiet for like the last 20+ minutes of game time.
Yeah, I think that's partially due to, I didn't like all the investment he had to put into Halberdier and throwing axemen. I think he feared the Imperial Camel too much, which, yeah, you should if you're going against it, but these are mixed armies in here. You do have allies that can help support you. For example, the Arbalest against the Imperial Camel. I don't think it was a great decision to cut Paladin production.
Yeah, me neither, especially if your Japanese player can just go for Halberdiers, and they're going to be much stronger. But regardless, he did, execute the killing blow, and I think if left unchecked, I really do think the Northern team could have made a pretty strong comeback into the game.
So some keys from this game, if you're playing against Eagles, Eagles are very strong. Make sure you take it very seriously and you go into either Knights or Longswordsmen early on. And I think that was really the decisive moment here on the left side for them.
Yeah, certainly.
And also, make sure you're... I don't know, make sure not... If you're playing as Paladins as the Franks, it really is your Civ strength, so I don't see why you would transition to Halberdier or throwing Axemen when there's no clear need for those 2 units.
Yeah, definitely a questionable choice, but the positional advantage that the Max took was really what won them the game. Just seeing this sort of exposed center of the opposing team's flank, or just base, I guess. But yeah, really good decision to just put the castles down and kill the trade.
Anyway, it was great casting with you, Ornlu.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Some Barbarossa. If you'd like to check out Ornlu's channel, I'll put a link to it in the description. And he's doing his own. He's just started up recently. And otherwise, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.